Hello there, and welcome to the Imitation game for today, October the 5th. And as promised previously, gonna try going a little more in depth with the old landing of Zookas. So, drop your flare wherever you're gonna land, wherever you want your troops to end up. So basically what that means is you're gonna have to choose a channel, and you're gonna walk up that channel to your target. This flare needs to be at the front of that, for lack of a better term, channel. And don't get me wrong, you can do like I just did there, which is an extra flare just to group everything up, and you can shift your Zookas back and forth, maybe because of coverage on the beach, maybe because of something else, but grand scheme of things, that's essentially what you want to do. That's kind of how you want to roll. You want to drop yourself in the channel, or at least really close to it if you can't get into the channel, and then maybe an extra flare just to thanks. Hi, bud. Okay. Oh, thanks. Oh, it's a lovely whatever this is. Go get it. But I kind of showed you that one yesterday. Dog hair, don't. Anyways, enter Imitation game stage 2 with Phil once again, and this time, instead of doing the whatever you want to call it, line landing, this one is more like the triangle landing. The advantage of this is you don't need a flare. So it's a little more efficient on energy, especially if you're doing like op hits, and you know you're gonna need to squeeze out every last bit of energy that you can. Now, once again, I kind of just dropped them. There was nothing around, so I didn't need to smoke on the landing. But what I did do is I dropped a flare near a building in the front, and I threw a smoke up there so that my Zookas wouldn't destroy it. And basically what I was doing was placing my Zookas in range of an anchor building so that they'll stop there and they'll just wait under the smoke to attack, and obviously then I continue moving them up the road before they get a chance to, you know, pop out of the smoke and attack. So, very key when you're landing Zookas, if you can, have an anchor point and anchor your Zookas on that anchor point. It makes life much easier. Now, if, say, you're trying to do a line landing with smoke, the trick is drop your flare first. This is a horrible example because the boat landed completely out. I'm not used to doing player bases with Zookas. I'm more used to ops, and with ops you can actually use the water shoreline, going to the right at the very least, as like exactly where your Zookas are going to land, so it's easier to place the fattest, like the diameter basically of the smoke, the fattest part, so you get the most coverage, so you use the fewest smokes. I know how to do that very easily on an op, but obviously on player bases, I'm kind of not so much there. I'm just like, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Sure, why not? Anyways, the trick is throw your flare, throw your first smoke, land 3 boats, sometimes 2 depending on the timing, drop your second smoke, go back and quickly drop a couple of boats to catch up to that magical front boat line where it meets up with the Zooka, as if you weren't smoking at all, like I tried to show you in that stage 1 there. And if you can do that, then in theory by the time you hit the end, now, like back in the day, the pros used to be able to do it with 2 smokes. Now you kind of have to use 3 smokes because the hero kind of knocks it out. It's like 2.5 smokes. But the last 2 boats and the hero can all get dropped into that last smoke, no problem. I actually didn't realize there was a rocket launcher right on the freaking shore. I was going to be like, oh yeah, I can just walk up to the base, it'll be no problem. I was honestly not paying attention to any of the bases aside from like where the core was. I was more paying attention to like what the shoreline would be, I guess, so that I could figure out like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show, you know, this style of landing, or I want to land like this, or I want to do this or do that. So all of my runs, at least up until 6 or 7, where I start, you know, actually having to try, just because those bases will wipe out your Zookas, and I didn't want to lose an attack. So just ignore some of the walking. Like, I am not putting forth any effort on that. I'm mostly just focusing on the actual land, like the shore, you know, between the water and the grass, basically. You gotta get water and grass, and in there, that's the sweet spot that I'm focused on. So, I know I kind of mentioned about the anchor point. As you can see, I purposely blew up that boom mine, leaving the mortar untouched because I wanted to use that mortar as my anchor point. So there's mortars and snipers right up on the shore, so of course the first thing I do is throw down my smokes to make sure all my Zookas are nice and safe, and then after my smokes are out, then I peg, and then I throw my following smokes, basically. Like, I chain further down. That's basically how you do a smoked triangle landing. I don't know what the proper name would be for that. And as you can see, I did a couple flares in between, like, my starting and ending point, just purely because I wanted to change channels and kind of run up. As you smoke more, you're going to start to understand the concept, where basically there's a specific path. I want to say that Op Destroy has done some amazing videos regarding that. There are a couple of YouTubers out there, if you look for videos, that explain like the channels and all kinds of stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. For the purpose of this video, I am just sticking to Before the Grass, because, you know, if you pay attention to the whole thing, everything slows down. It takes like 3 hours. You know, you gotta stop for Doritos in the middle. Gotta have a snack, you know. So next up on 6, this time I was like, alright, you know what, the stage 6 is getting a little more serious. I should probably not goof around, which is why I didn't smoke, even though I didn't need to smoke. What I will suggest, though, is when you're doing that landing, as you saw on this one, land your hero last. The heroes pretty much all run faster than the Zookas, so what ends up happening is if you land them all around the same time, your Zookas end up falling further and further back. You can tell by where my troops are right now. The hero's already up there and waiting, and the Zookas are struggling to catch up, and you don't want to have that happening on an even longer base, like an op base or something like that. So, if you can, in any way, delay the dropping of your hero. Again, it's another one of those things you kind of got to finesse. You're going to get a feel for it as you do it more. And I'd almost say, like, you know, half the distance of where you want Brick to catch your Zookas is how far back you want to do it. But don't go too far back, because then you run into problems of your smokes not lasting long enough, and there's all kinds of craziness. So what you really need to do on the longer bases is drop an intermediary flare, which will allow you to group up your troops there. So you start Brick a little further behind, Brick runs up ahead, and then waits there at that flare. Everybody catches up, and then you continue on. Wow, that's a lot of words. Anyways, here we go with Stage 7. I kind of threw that third smoke a little too far back. I really goofed it, I'm not gonna lie. But that's okay, because this base is super, super kind to the all Zooka hit. As you can see, I just have to walk in behind, and really it's a 2-shock win. So anyways, this is how you can take down Stage 7 Phil on Imitation game, and do it with Zookas, have some fun. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's been entertaining. And above all else, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.